Hi, my name is Clay from OpenC3, and in this video, I'll be showing you how to make a web UI tool within Cosmos. Let's get started. Everything that we'll be talking about in this video is documented in our documentation over at docs.openc3.com. And in this video, we'll be just facilitating, kind of showing off how to make these tools so that you can be right on your way. We're going to first start off with generating the scaffolding for a plugin, which is going to contain our tool. So first we're going to navigate to wherever you have Cosmos installed. I'm going to invoke the Cosmos OpenC3.sh script and run CLI generate plugin. So first we're going to start off with a plugin, and I'm going to call this severe weather, and you'll see why I'm calling this later on. And then I'm just going to make this a Ruby-based gem. So cool. So we now have a plugin called OpenC3 COSMOS severe weather successfully generated. I'm going to CV into this. And then from here, I'm going to find my OpenC3.sh script here, and then run OpenC3.sh CLI generate tool. And this is also going to call severe weather. Cool. So I just made a new tool within my severe weather plugin called severe weather tool, and that's going to build out all the scaffolding that's necessary for our plugin in our tool. Taking a quick look at what was generated here. So right here I have my plugin.txt, which is going to contain the severe weather tool, and it's going to have a little icon. I'm going to change it to something else. I can look up the MDI icons that are available to me. This is going to be the best and easiest way to choose an icon. I'm going to look up weather, and this looks kind of fun. So I'm going to go with this icon name, and then I'm going to specify that as my MDI icon to be used in the tool navigation. Looking at some other items here, so we have the package JSON. So if you have other extensions you want to use, other dependencies you want to use, this is a good place to place them. I won't go over all the details just because that's going to involve a lot of sort of JS and Vue.js code development. But as an overview, the main thing is going to be within this severe weather.view. This is where a lot of the logic for this front-end code is going to exist. And from here, I'm going to run pm install, and that's going to install all the different dependencies that's needed as part of this tool. pm is the recommended package manager that we recommend. Once that is completed, I'm going to run rake build version 1.0.0, and that's going to create our gem. With my gem successfully created, I'm going to install this plugin from the install from file button. And once I have selected my gem, I can verify the plugin text information and then hit install. And that's going to install our new severe weather tool into our Cosmos installation. Upon refresh, we should now see this icon on the far left side toolbar called severe weather, and that is going to be our new plugin. So from here, it has a default interface such that it just has a simple card here just so we can get something started. One of the powers of using Cosmos is going to be that it supports single spot technology, which is single page application, and that'll allow us to be able to render and do our front-end development in real time. So what I'm going to start off with doing here is from my console, I'm actually going to type in local storage.devtools equals true. And this is like what all the developers at OpenC3 do in order to build out these UIs very quickly. And then now I have this button on the far right corner, and this allows us to override individual plugins such that they are now served from a different location. So instead of serving from localhost 2900, which is where Cosmos is hosted by default, I can actually have it pointed from a different place. The specific tool I care about is going to be this bottom one, severe weather. And then if I go back into our code and go into the vite config.js file, we'll see that the server is defined here, port 2999. This can obviously be changed. It just has to be deconflicted by anything else that's out there. It just has to be unique. But that's going to be the one that we care about. I'm going to go back into my terminal here, and I'm going to run pm serve, and that's going to serve our plugin at the 2999 port in our localhost. I'm going to go back to Cosmos and then replace this override port with 2999. I'll apply the override. And then at this point, I can hit refresh, and then nothing should really change. We're now pointed to this new version that we are hosted locally. What we can do now, though, is if you go to our severe weather view, and then this checks this as example card, updated. I'm going to make an update. I'm going to make sure I save in my VS Code, go back to our UI here, and if I hit refresh, I will see that has been updated. So in this way, I don't have to do the plugin installation, reinstallation, building over and over and over. I can just do this coding live so that I can save a ton of time building out these UI tools. Like many developers that are utilizing different AI technologies, I'm going to finish out this application by using the support from LLMs to build out a simple UI that we can interact with. So I'm going to be using Claude Code in this example, but of course you're welcome to use whatever model or whatever tool is friendly to you. All right, so I'm going to use my LLM here to help me build out this sample tool. That's going to be using the NOAA's API for severe weather alerts, and then just have this mapped out. So this is going to I'm just going to let this run for a little bit. I will have this code available as open source so that you can take a look if it's helpful to you. All right, so I let Claude run for a little bit and it has generated some code now. It looks like it did add some dependencies to our package.json. So on your end, if you need to run some pnpm builds or pnpm installs, that may be necessary to get all the dependencies. But now, of course, this is just a Vibe-coded application and it's going to be much more simple than maybe what you're looking for. But it's going to be a good example of just how to get started, how to build out these web UIs. So now it has pulled in all this records from the NOAA Severe Weather Advisory APIs, and then it has